Hi, my name is Alde Jesus Santiago Lara. I'm gonna talk about the silent way method. Well, let's continue. Historical background. As we know, the silent way is developed by this person, Caleb Gattegno, in the middle of 60. He was a mathematics teacher. He was trying to find a methodology to teach English, same like in mathematics, solving problems, solving with certain formulas. Right here, I'm gonna show you the heart of this method. The heart of this method is consider this quote. Let's see. You tell me, I forget it. You teach me, I remember. You involve me, I learn it. This quote is from Benjamin Franklin. As we know, if somebody tells you something, maybe you can forget it in passing the time. Instead, if you teach someone a certain thing, he might be remember, but sometimes we forget it passing the time. But if you involve the people involved in learning, that somebody will learn and keep that in passing years. Right here, I'm gonna show you the theory of learning. Students are trained to solve problems. That's the main activity, solving problems. They use a chart to present the grammar as a problem, like a formula. Non-native language use. The native language is only like is not useful for this method. Only we need to focus only the target language. Learning is facilitated, but if the learning discover, created, then remember and repeat, that is what to be learned. Okay, so the learner need to be discover the language, discover the vocabulary, discover the structure. Also, learning is a fascinating thing, and combining mediation physical objects. In this method, we can combine physical objects by for example a piece of paper. Then we're gonna create a real life situation with this piece of paper. Okay, vocabulary is one of the most important parts of this method, because vocabulary is fundamental and it is divided in two: semi-luxury and luxury. Semi-luxury is with the common words, like for example camera, computer, desk, pencil, book, whatever. Luxury is more like technical vocabulary used with a certain person, for example an engineer, a lawyer, a language that I use for a physics. That is luxury vocabulary. Well, I have right here the teacher role. The teacher role is basically the listener. The provider provides the exercise, the learning opportunities, all the stuffs in the classroom. A guide. He need to be a good guide, because sometimes the students maybe lost the language purpose, or maybe the language, some ideas. So the teacher need to guide the students in the correct way to learn something. Students are the speakers, so the teacher becomes the listener and the monitor. The student's role. Right here, the student's roles is more important. A problem solver, a criticer, a self-student, autonomous is the most important piece in the class. As I mentioned, the students need to be aware of their own learning, need to be aware of learn. Also need to create, criticize their own learning. Be autonomous, try to learn something by himself. Not only depends on the teacher. Knowledge depends on their knowledge. Right here I'm gonna show you the advantages. For me, the advantages are a lot. The students become more responsibly learning, an active participant. So it's also become more a speaker because he speaks a lot in this method. A difference between the others methods, because some another methods teachers need to speak a lot and then the students just listen. Disadvantages, well, some teachers will have difficulties because they need to maintain the silence, and also fact that a social context is not included in this context of methodology. The social context is very important for me, but we need to be aware that this method has this problem. Forget about this method forgot the idea of context. I mean the idea of social things. Well, I gotta show you the procedure of a typical class. First, the teacher needs to select a partner. A partner, for example, verb to be. The teacher will model the new partner using the select color chart. Another chart, the teacher will present the sound and find of the vocabulary. We can have, for example, Halloween parties using verb to be. So mixing the sound and the structure will model the correct pronunciation. The teacher will model what show the correct pronunciation, mixing the partner of the structure and the partner of the vocabulary. Then another chart will with different color will present certain problem to be resolved. After the modeling, the problem is coming, so the teacher is giving the problem to the students. The students need to work in teams to resolve the problem or get a new vocabulary and structure. As we know, right here is a teamwork, so the students need to know about teamwork and solve problems. Sometimes in this method we can find only a work in team or work by the student, depending on the exercise. The students need to work in teams to resolve. Okay, at the end, the teacher will ask the students to give answers. If are correct, each need to correct errors in response, and incorrect, and other students need to pass. Okay, I'm gonna mention this part of checking errors. The teacher need to check the errors only by giving modeling to the correct form and structure. So correct errors must need to be more like the students. Students need to be aware to correct on their own errors. Okay. Well, my conclusion. Well, we can apply this method in real life, different kind of classes, but sometimes will be difficult for the teacher, because sometimes I think some activities will need to be more explaining in these cases, not only resolving problems, because sometimes the students will get stressed if everything in the class is resolving problems. We need to be aware about the age. Some students are kids, and the kids don't like problems. They wanna get fun and everything. If they get stressed, maybe they will find the English by harm. I don't know, something very aggressive. Well, and the good things is because we can find the students trained to be problem solving, because sometimes they need to solve some typical problems in their daily lives, and they will find very useful this methodology. Okay, right here I got my resource. If you see my EnglishPage.com, 1 to English, and books right here. Harman Jeremy, Teaching and Learning Grammar. Okay, so this is all for me. I hope you enjoyed my presentation.